As the narrative of this classic one-day-at-a-time episode continues to unfold with its characteristic blend of warmth and witty insight, Part 4 invites us to examine one of the most compelling figures in the teenage romantic triangle. Cliff Randall, the charming heartthrob, whose confidence and subtle manipulation drive much of the story's comedic tension and thematic depth. In the landscape of 1970s American sitcoms, Cliff represents a familiar yet nuanced archetype, the popular self-assured boy who navigates the social world with ease while revealing layers of calculation beneath his appealing exterior. Through masterful writing and careful character construction, the episode uses Cliff not merely as a rival to Bob, but as a mirror, reflecting the shifting ideals of masculinity attraction and teenage power dynamics in 1975 America. Cliff makes his entrance into the Romano apartment with the kind of effortless swagger that immediately shifts the energy of the room. His arrival is perfectly timed to heighten Barbara's existing dilemma, and the script wastes no opportunity to showcase his charismatic presence. Unlike Bob's hesitant and earnest approach, Cliff operates with bold directness. He playfully confronts Barbara about the switched notebooks, framing her scheme as something that made her sweat a little, thereby turning her own minor deception into an opportunity for flirtatious teasing. This moment is brilliantly written, revealing Cliff's quick wit and social intelligence. He knows exactly how to position himself as both the injured party and the magnanimous forgiver, a tactic that proves highly effective with a conflicted girl like Barbara. What makes Cliff such a compelling character is the way the episode balances his charm with hints of manipulation. He is undeniably attractive, the foxiest guy in school, as Barbara describes him, and the script allows us to understand why a teenage girl might find him irresistible. His confidence is magnetic. When he decides to ask Barbara to the dance, he does so with a casual flair that suggests he is granting her a favor while simultaneously acknowledging the game they have both been playing. Lines such as "Any girl who steals a guy's notebook on a test night deserves to sweat a little" showcase the playful yet slightly dominant edge to his personality. In the context of 1970s youth culture, Cliff embodies the emerging ideal of the cool, liberated young man who embraces freedom and self-expression while still operating within traditional high school hierarchies of popularity and desirability. The contrast between Cliff and Bob is handled with remarkable subtlety and never descends into caricature. Where Bob invests weeks of quiet longing and self-improvement, Cliff moves with the assurance of someone accustomed to getting what he wants. His decision to stay for dinner, or rather, his quick refusal while still lingering, demonstrates social dexterity. Even as the underlying tension simmers, this ability to smooth over potentially uncomfortable situations highlights Cliff's strength as a social operator. Yet the script gently undercuts his smoothness through small details, such as Barbara's awareness of his interest in other girls and Julie's scheming awareness that he needs a gentle push. One of the episode's most insightful explorations involves the theme of manipulation in teenage romance. Cliff's charm is not malicious, but it is strategic. By making Barbara wait and then framing his invitation as an act of pity mixed with attraction, he maintains the upper hand in their dynamic. This reflects broader cultural shifts in the 1970s, when traditional courtship rituals were giving way to more fluid, game-oriented interactions, influenced by the sexual revolution and changing gender expectations. Young women like Barbara were caught between desires for independence and the lingering pull of wanting to be chosen by the most desirable boy. The episode observes this dynamic with affectionate humor rather than judgment, allowing viewers to recognize the universal truth that confidence can be both intoxicating and potentially misleading. Cliff's interactions with the rest of the family further illuminate his character. His easy banter with Anne Romano and Julie reveals a boy who is comfortable in adult spaces yet still very much a teenager. When he mentions his upcoming history test and the notebook mix-up, there is a boyish quality to his complaint that humanizes him. He is not a villain, but a product of his environment, a popular teenager enjoying the social freedoms of the era while learning, perhaps unconsciously, the power of charm as currency. The script's gentle satire shines through here, poking fun at the way teenage boys like Cliff could wield charisma as both shield and weapon in the high-stakes arena of dating. As Barbara's guilt intensifies, Cliff's presence becomes both a source of excitement and complication. Her flustered acceptance of his invitation, followed by the painful realization that she has now committed to two boys, underscores the emotional stakes. The episode uses Cliff to explore the allure of the unattainable or the socially elevated partner. In 1970s, America high school was a microcosm of larger societal changes where popularity, appearance, and confidence carried significant weight amid economic uncertainty and cultural experimentation. Cliff represents the thrilling possibility of being swept up in that world even as the audience senses the potential for superficiality beneath the charm. Later developments in the episode further enrich Cliff's portrayal. When Barbara finally tells him the truth about accepting Bob first, Cliff handles the revelation with a mix of surprise, mild annoyance and pragmatic adaptability. His quick pivot to asking another girl demonstrates emotional resilience and a certain emotional detachment that contrasts sharply with Bob's deeper investment. This adaptability is presented not as coldness but as a realistic teenage response, practical, forward-moving, and consistent with his confident persona. The script avoids making Cliff unlikable. Instead, it presents him as a valid alternative romantic choice whose strengths and limitations both deserve acknowledgement. The historical and cultural context of 1975 adds considerable depth to our understanding of Cliff. This was a time when media increasingly celebrated youthful confidence and rebellion against stuffy traditions. Television, music, and films promoted images of charismatic young men who lived by their own rules. Cliff fits neatly into this mold while the episode subtly questions whether such charm always leads to healthy relationships. Through Anne Romano's wise guidance, the show suggests that while confidence is attractive, it must be balanced with honesty and consideration, qualities that both boys ultimately demonstrate in their own ways. The dialogue written for Cliff sparkles with the sharp naturalistic style that defines the series. His lines are crisp, playful and revealing. Whether teasing Barbara about the notebook or making quick decisions about dinner and the dance, Cliff's speech patterns convey a boy who is verbally agile and socially adept. These verbal gifts make him a formidable presence in the cramped Romano apartment, where his energy fills the space and forces the other characters to react. In the broader thematic architecture of the episode, Cliff serves as a catalyst for Barbara's growth. His charisma forces her to confront her difficulty, saying no, and her tendency to prioritize others' feelings over her own truth. By embodying the exciting alternative to Bob's steady kindness, Cliff highlights the complexity of teenage desire, the pull between safety and excitement, sincerity and sparkle. The episode handles this tension with remarkable balance, never diminishing the genuine appeal of either boy while gently steering the narrative toward lessons about authenticity. Cliff Randall ultimately emerges as one of the episode's most memorable supporting players. He is the teenage heartthrob who reminds us of the powerful allure of confidence, the subtle art of social navigation, and the sometimes manipulative edge that can accompany charm. In the capable hands of the One Day at a Time writing team, he becomes more than just the rival suitor. He becomes a vibrant representation of 1970s youth culture in all its energetic, flawed, and fascinating glory. Through Cliff, the episode offers viewers a nuanced meditation on attraction, power, and personal style in the evolving social landscape of the decade. His character enriches the central conflict, deepens Barbara's internal struggle, and provides countless opportunities for sharp comedy and gentle observation. As the story moves toward its resolution, Cliff's confident presence continues to resonate, reminding us that every romantic dilemma involves not just hearts but the complex interplay of personality, timing, and cultural expectations. The charm of Cliff Randall, like the episode itself, endures because it feels authentically drawn from the real joys and complications of growing up. In celebrating both his magnetism and his limitations, One Day at a Time once again demonstrates its mastery at finding profound humanity in the everyday dramas of family life.